Hello, welcome back to our NST Web App training video series. In this video, we're going to go over entering code enforcement information into NST. Okay, so to begin, you're going to want to go ahead and log into NST, and then once you've logged in, select your 2014 code enforcement geography. For this video, I'm going to be using St. Clair Superior Development Corporation as an example. After you've selected your geography, you're going to want to add the CDC inspection info columns to your table. We do that by going to select columns, scrolling all the way down to CDC inspection info, and then hitting the all button right next to the tab title. This is going to check off all of the columns under CDC inspection info. After you do that, go ahead and hit OK, and your table should expand to include all of these columns. These columns begin with this inspection history column and should end with permits posted all the way down here. Once you've expanded your table, you should be all set to go to start entering CDC inspection information. So the thing to note is that in NST, anytime you see a box outlined in blue, that means the column is directly editable by the user. By clicking any box in a parcel's row, the CDC inspection information box is going to pop up. You'll see at the top that you're now editing the CDC inspection information fields for a specific parcel. Beneath it to the left, you're going to see the CDC inspection info column headings. And then to the right, you're going to see editable fields where you can now enter CDC inspection info that you've been collecting about a specific parcel. This is going to begin with the source information for the inspection. So is this a CIA inspection? Is it a routine complaint? Was it initiated by a CDC or a citizen? Or is it a housing court inspection? You'd go ahead and pick that information here. Next, you can enter more information about that specific complaint or inspection. So you could enter the date the complaint was received, the inspection date, the housing specialist's name who conducted the inspection, any findings or the violation type you could pick from this drop-down menu. Any inspection notes that you've collected would go in this box. If contact was made with the homeowner, you could enter that contact date here. If you received a response from the homeowner, you could go ahead and enter that information in these boxes. If agreement was made with the homeowner, you would go ahead and hit yes here, or you could hit no if no agreement was made. If you referred the homeowner to any sort of resources, you could go ahead and enter that information here. If this is a follow-up inspection, you would enter the date for that follow-up inspection here, and any status updates would go in these next three boxes. If the homeowner was referred to building and housing, you would enter the referral date here. If you attended court watch, you would then enter that information. If you're tracking this parcel for vacancy, you could enter the date that you started tracking this parcel here. If this parcel is vacant or foreclosed and has returned to productive use, you could enter that information here. If you're confused about these definitions or unsure of what this means, you could check out our data dictionary for longer definitions and examples of what this means. Next, you could enter owner contact information in this box. And the next set of information is relative to property characteristics. So in this drop-down menu, you could pick if this is a residential, commercial, or mixed-use property. The number of residential units would go in this box. If the parcel is owner-occupied or a rental, you could pick that from this drop-down menu. And then any building occupancy information. You can see after that we've got a bunch of column headings with question marks. This means these are property characteristics that can be answered with a yes or no. So is the parcel OVV? Yes or no. Does it have broken windows? Does it have boarded up windows? Any gutter downspout damage? You could go ahead and hit yes or no here. And this keeps going all the way down until we reach our last column, again, that being permits posted. Once you've entered all of the information that you intend on entering for the specific parcel, you could go ahead and hit update, and all of that information will be populated into that parcel's row. Another thing to note is if you see the word link in the inspection history column, you could go ahead and click on it and view historical information that has been entered about that parcel. So as you're entering or overwriting information in a column, the previous entry will show up in the inspection history page. This way you can keep updating information without worrying that you're going to be losing information as you overwrite. The inspection history link is rebuilt once a week, and you'll be able to see historical information after the most recent NST refresh. So the last entry might not show up automatically, but if you check back after the NST refresh, it should show up here. Finally, we also have a few helpful resources for you as you enter inspection info. First, our data dictionary. If you are unsure about what a specific column means, you could come to the data dictionary and read what the definition is for that column. If you scroll about halfway down into our data dictionary, you're going to find the CDC inspection info category, where we've got all of our CDC inspection info columns and their relevant definitions. So for example, if you were unsure about what vacant and return to productive use meant, you could scroll down to that column heading and then find its relevant definition. So it's just a really good idea to comb through the data dictionary before you start entering any information to make sure that what you're entering is in line with what that column definition is. Another thing to check out in NST resources are our code enforcement resources. Here you'll find a bunch of information about uploading code enforcement information into NST. One very useful document is the CDC Inspection Info Section Entry Options document. This PDF outlines all of the acceptable entries in the CDC Inspection Info fields and will give you more guidance on acceptable terms for these columns. This is especially useful if you're doing a bulk upload in NST, which I go over in another video. Finally, if you'd like more information about the Code Enforcement Partnership, you could go to Code Enforcement Informational Documents and find more information about the partnership agreements, ward service areas, any program changes, and flowcharts. This 2014 Partnership Agreement and Standard Procedures document is a really great document if you want to learn more about what needs to be filled out, when information should be added. There's also some walkthrough examples and sample forms and letters that you could send out to homeowners at the end of this document. Finally, I want to end by saying that tracking your inspections in NST makes it easier to do a couple of other code enforcement functions, like creating your CDBG reports and creating letters to send to homeowners with minor issues. You can check out our CDBG report video for detailed instructions on how to create your CDBG report using the template and an NST download. And you could also check out our mail merge video to get more detailed instructions on how to do a mail merge. And that concludes our NST Web App training video on entering code enforcement information into NST. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about entering code enforcement information, feel free to email nstwebapp@case.edu, and an NST Web App team member will get back to you shortly. Thank you.